Hello and welcome to Purposeful Pressure. I'm your host, Renee. Today's topic is value in the valley. So, even though I was going through this valley of infertility, I could not deny who God is and was to me in my valley. I was carrying grief, but I was also aware of God's goodness, which kept me moving in the midst of my trial, or in the midst of my valley. So here it is. It is now April of 2022. So hubby and I thought that maybe we should start looking at another option or another route to having a baby. So we decided to do some exploring about adoption. So we researched the adoption world, we researched different adoption agencies, and we compared it to foster care, and we decided that adoption would be the better option for us to pursue. And so we ended up landing on a adoption agency. We'll call this agency Blueberry Adoption Agency, right? So we prayed about it and we say, hey, Lord, if this is the route that you have for us, make it plain, make it smooth, and bless it, right? So we ended up signing up with adoption agency Blueberry, and with signing up with them, we signed a 2-year contract to become clients with them. At this point, I was continuously praying, just asking God, let this adoption agency bless us with a child that's just right for us. I mean, I had gone to the point where I was writing out Bible verses on sticky notes and putting them in the car. I was taking them to work with me. I had them in my pocket. I had them on my nightstand. I had them on my headboard of my bed. I mean, I had Bible verses everywhere because I wanted to keep the Lord word close to me, close to my heart, because I wanted God to hear me. I wanted him to not only hear me, but answer me in the way that I desired to be answered. So we signed a 2-year contract, right? And with the way this specific adoption agency worked is that they required a lump sum up front, and then the remaining balance we could pay when we were selected by a birth mother to become adoptive parents. So we knew that we didn't have the finances right then and there for a lump sum. Because we had expended a lot of our finances for all the other procedures that we had been through. So we ended up applying for and receiving just a regular personal bank loan for the lump sum that they were requiring up front. In the initial conversation or consultation with Blueberry Adoption Agency, they pretty much led us on. They told us that people of color, we would have a baby soon because people of color put their babies up for adoption frequently. and they told us within 6 months we should have a baby. And they told us that they are so glad that we signed up, and everything from here on forward would just be smooth and swift for us. So husband and I, we got off that phone call consultation, and we were like, okay then, there's a little glimmer of hope in our eyes, right? So 6 months came and no baby. We were ghosted several times by people who came to Blueberry Agency claiming that they were pregnant. So we were ghosted more times than we could count. We had a couple of times where the father and the mother, initially they were on the same page, but when it came down to taking the second step and having like a social worker come and talk to them and to get to know them and see what they were thinking about during the conversation with the social worker, the father ended up backing out, and the mother wanted to move forward. So the social worker ended up reporting this back to Agency Blueberry and saying, hey, if your client still want to pursue this specific adoption, then they may have a fight on their hands. So that was one instance where we had to decline moving forward with the mother. And we also had an instance with Blueberry where the mother had chosen us, and she ended up going in for a regular routine ultrasound, and she found out that the baby had heart issues and would need immediate heart surgery upon being delivered. And it was possible that the baby could have lifelong issues with his or her heart. So that was another instance that we declined to move forward with that mother. So it was just, so many things going on and so many circumstances happened with Agency Blueberry. And I just wanted to, at this point, just get out of the contract. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. This is crazy. We need to get out of this contract. But we couldn't get out of the contract because then we would be losing our money. So it would be unwise and pointless to basically cut ties with them at this point. So I brought up to my husband the option of a second adoption agency. And I was like, look, if we sign up with another agency, we could get more exposure and we probably could have some better options in being selected. Well, he wasn't on board with that. He was like, look, we are basically already tapped out, with our finances. So let's just continue to wait to see what Agency Blueberry does for us, and we will talk about it, at another time. I said, okay. But I continued to research other agencies, and I found one that I liked, and I didn't say anything, just yet, because he had already told me no. So a year has passed with Agency Blueberry. So it is now April of 2021. No baby. I bring up the option for a second time about signing up with a new agency, and he said the same thing. We just don't have the finances to sign up with another agency. And so we just left it at that. I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do, right? So I would say a couple of weeks later, in the midst of me, still struggling with all of our losses, all of our pain, not being selected yet after a year of with our new adoption agency, just not being called, thinking what's wrong with us, thinking is something wrong with our profile, is something wrong with our biography. What is it that's keeping us from being selected? So it's Sunday morning. We get to the church parking lot. My husband goes into church. He's like, "You coming?" I was like, "Yeah, I just need to, have a couple of seconds of just a little quiet time with God." So he goes, "Okay." So I sit in the car and I'm thinking about all of this that's happening. Right. So of course I'm crying, I'm thinking, my heart is hurting. And I'm like, "God, where are you? I need you," right? So in the midst of my crying, a church member comes to the passenger side of my car, knocks on the window. So I'm trying to, wipe my tears away in secret, although they're looking dead in my face. I'm like, oh gosh, something must be in my eye, right? So I rolled down the window, and the church member, who I'm going to call Buddy. So Buddy says, "Good morning. Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, just life." So he goes, "Okay." So Buddy hands me a unmarked white envelope. And Buddy says, "God told me to give this to you." And I already know what's in the envelope. We all know what's in the envelope, right? So, and I say, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm just thinking it's a little something, right? I open the envelope. It's more than a little something. So I'm like, "Okay, God, thank you for the finances. We don't know what to do with it. We don't have a baby. We're not going out buying baby stuff and what have we. So I don't know what you want me to do with this money." Buddy has already went in church. So I try to gather myself and go inside the church, right? And I'm still reluctant to praise God. Yep, still reluctant to praise God. And because I'm like, my situation hasn't changed, my circumstances hasn't changed, so I'm just finding a hard time to worship you. I'm having a hard time worshiping God. And I'm thinking that I'm justified in not worshiping God because I'm hurt. And I just sit there and go through the motions. So once church is over, we get in the car, and then I tell husband what happened. Buddy came to the car and he gave us an envelope. So he's surprised and thankful or whatever. So we get home and I go online and I go back to look up this second adoption agency. And I said, let me just go through, and see what their fees are and see what it costs to make an initial consultation or whatever. I look online. I look up their rates and their prices and whatnot. Their fee matches what was in the envelope. Mic drop. Their fee matches what was in the envelope. Right? So then I was like, I gotta go tell my husband, right? So I went and told my husband. I said, "Hey, I'm looking at this second agency again, and we can pay for it. We can pay for it. So what do you want to do?" And he said, "Fine, babe, just do it." I couldn't wait till Monday came. So I ended up paying the fee that night, and the next day I ended up scheduling a consultation with this new adoption clinic. So I'm just smiling, and waiting for them to call us so we can talk about everything, and I'm just waiting to get more exposure, basically. So I will just call this second place Faith Consultancy. Faith Consultancy is the name of the new place that we signed up with. So, with Faith Consultancy, we ended up signing a 18-month contract with them to become their clients. We already knew the drill of waiting until, we were selected by a birth mother. Well, immediately, Faith Consultancy handled business differently than Blueberry Agency did. Faith Consultancy allowed you to see the full cost of everything from beginning to end. So, if you were selected by a birth mother, you didn't have anything blind that was gonna come and bite you later on down the road, or even in the midst. Oh, I didn't know that it was going to cost this. They laid everything out for you. So I was already pleased with the way that they were running business. So now we were just looking at all the various emails Faith Consultancy, was sending us, and they let us know that if and when we are selected within 24 to 48 hours, we would have to come up with a portion of the fees, and then later on a portion of the other fees would go to the birth mother. So again, we knew how much we needed from beginning to end. So it's now, I would say, December. It's now December of 2021, right? One day we get an email from Faith Consultancy, and it's telling, all the clients, we have a mom that is pregnant, and here's her bio, here is what she's looking for in adoptive parents. If you would like to put your biography in, we will send it to the birth mother, and we will just await her choice of who she selected. And it showed the total fee at the bottom. I looked at that fee, jaw drop, right? I'm like, I want to apply for this case. We can afford it. So I ended up telling my husband. I sent the information over to him. He goes, yeah, let's apply for it. Let's put our name in the hat. And I said, did you see how much it costs to move forward with this? And he goes, yeah, I saw it. We don't have it, but if it's for us, then the Lord will make a way for us to have those finances. I said, you're right. Okay, let's do it. So I ended up emailing Faith Consultancy saying, yes, put our name in a hat, send our biography over to the birth mom, and we just wait to see what she says. Whew. That's a lot. So we're waiting. We are definitely waiting, and we are hoping. So after that, after service, so another week passed by. So we ended up going to church again, and I ended up doing the same thing. So at this point, I'm sitting in the car. Husband is gone inside the church. So I'm in the car again. I'm crying. Lord, we don't have the money. Lord, I want this to work out. Lord, I think this the one. Right, I'm just talking to God and crying. So, Buddy comes over to the passenger side again. I roll the window down. Buddy goes, good morning. Hey, how's it going? I'm like, life is life. All right. So Buddy hands me another envelope. And he said, God said, you don't know what to do with it. So, I'm crying, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. This second envelope is bigger than the first envelope. So I'm just crying and crying and crying. I'm not putting two and two together, right? So I'm like, Lord, we have this money. We don't have a baby. We don't know what to do. We haven't got a call back. I'm just still talking to God and crying. Buddy then went inside the church, minding his business, praising God. I'm sitting in the car, still talking to God, crying, not trusting. You know what I'm saying? That he's going to do what needed to be done with me in the valley. I'm not even realizing the value in the valley. I'm still crying. I'm still crying about my losses. I'm still crying about what he's already made a way for, but I just don't see it yet. Right? So we have this money. And then, so church service is over. So I tell my husband, Buddy did it again. And so we're like, oh, wow, So husband goes, we should just tell Buddy what we're doing so he knows, what's happening with his money. So we ended up telling Buddy, hey, we are actually adopting. So basically we're on the wait list and we're just waiting to be selected. And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for a baby through adoption. And so Buddy goes, oh, that's awesome. I knew that God was telling me to do the right thing in giving these finances to you. Buddy goes, if you need any more, let me know. Honey and I looked at each other and we said, you know what, Buddy, you've done enough. You've given us enough. In our minds, we know that we needed more. But, pride says, don't ask for it, right? So, Buddy was listening to God. Buddy said, how much more do you need? Another mic drop. So, we told Buddy about such and such. Buddy said, I'll bring you a check tomorrow. We were like, okay, we don't know what's happening. I'm not putting two and two together. Husband is not putting two to two together. We just thankful for the finances, right? So the next day, surely enough, Buddy comes over with a third set of finances for us. So we're like, oh my goodness. We don't know what's about to happen, right? We're just thankful for the finances. So later on, I think it was later on that week. If not later on that week, then it was another week had passed. And we got a call from Faith Consultancy. And Faith said, you've been selected by this birth mother. She wants y'all to be the adoptive parents of her baby. I was at work. Once again, I was at work for this when I got the phone call. I literally started jumping in my office. The joy that I was experiencing. I was like, finally, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, my God is moving on my behalf. I was like, finally, there is basically joy in the morning. Joy is coming. There is joy even when you are going through things. There is actually value in the valley. My God just continue to come through for us, right? So I'm just ecstatic. I can't wait, to tell Honey this. I call him Honey, right? So I can't wait to share this news with Honey. And I just thought, I'm about to come out of my valley. There's no greater feeling. So being in the valley is in no shape, form, fashion, degree, or angle easy. It's not easy at all. You can say you walk by faith. You can say that. You can quote it. You can even have it in your heart. But when something hits you, and it hits you hard, it will be tested. It will be tested. And I was tested in that. Because I was saying it, I was writing it, I was posting it, but I haven't experienced a trial. I haven't experienced a valley that would test what I was talking about. So in this valley, I was questioning my faith. I was questioning God. I was questioning what he said he would do. But what I got out of this part of my journey was that being in the valley is inevitable. You're going to go through something. So how are you going to respond while in the valley? Will you allow God to get the glory? So I just thought to myself, finally, I'm out of the valley. Or was I? Stay with me. Stay with me for the next episode. Here's how you can watch Purposeful Pressure.